The wet season is still with us, and we are heading towards the peak, which is in November. We have been seeing basically the riverine flood alert issued by the Met Service, also a rough seas bulletin in effect. But obviously at this time of the year we tend to get those type of rainfall. So looking basically at the riverine alert, so be extra careful, especially along those riversides, with additional rainfall forecast as well as the high tides hindering the flow out to sea. And already soils are waterlogged, so they'll be slow runoff anyway. So for those of you living along the riverbanks, be especially cautious, be mindful of this additional rainfall and the fact as we go overnight, the additional rains pushing into the early part of the morning could see those rivers which are threateningly high and at threshold levels overspilling their banks and also coming down further out towards the Gulf of Paris, especially along the Caroni River. In terms of the rainfall, 69 millimeters was recorded at Piarco. That now takes the total to 130 as we get towards the latter half of October. But bearing in mind that we normally get 200 millimeters, so we're still short, but we'll still be seeing a bit more rainfall added to that rain gauge as we go through tomorrow. But looking at the satellite picture, you can just pick up all of the clouds, and the thickest clouds down towards central and the southern areas through Barakpur and down towards Siparia, seeing those heavier bursts of rainfall. And that cloud and rain will likely linger across the southern areas as we go overnight and tomorrow. And that's all courtesy of the ITCZ. A lot of that moisture is hanging around towards the south of Trinidad, especially out towards Guyana as well, seeing some of those heavy rains as we go through the next few days. So looking at the green colors, that's where the computer is picking out the rains. The heaviest ones are there in the orange colors. I will likely see a lot of cloudiness as well as we go through late Friday going into Saturday, but at least the showers should be fewer and far between as we get towards the weekend. But we can't breathe a sigh of relief just yet because we have another tropical wave set to come by on late Monday going into Tuesday. But it is not set to develop, but it will definitely be a rainmaker as we go into early next week. So for Tobago tonight then, it continues to be windy along Windward Road out towards Scarborough into Roxborough as well. Watch for the flags to be rippling and the palms to be swaying at times, and also pushing in those blustery showers over Mason Hall, across the main ridge and down towards Plymouth as well. So a damp and a windy day for you through Friday. Similarly for Trinidad, look for the heaviest rains down towards southern Trinidad, San Fernando, Pinal, or towards Moruga. Continuous rainfall expected as we go into the early hours of Friday, but the winds will also be pushing in some blustery showers for northern Trinidad through Toco, out towards Arima, getting as far towards Port of Spain, and you will notice a few of those showers could be turning heavy and thundery as you go through the day. But again, the ITCZ and its moisture will linger over southern Trinidad for the most part through Friday, continually bringing those heavier showers down towards Rio Claro into Caracas and Moruga, but the winds will definitely take over by the time we get to Saturday. So looking at a cool night, 23 degrees Celsius in Trinidad, 24 in Tobago, no higher than 30 degrees Celsius in Tobago, possibly stretching to 31 in Trinidad. But we should be seeing some relief through Saturday and Sunday, a lot more sunshine to come. The ridge of high pressure brings more tranquil weather through the weekend. And then on a Monday, we're talking about that another tropical wave set to bring us some more heavy rainfall as we get to early next week. Now, in terms of those small craft and boaters, be extra careful, especially across those northern and eastern shorelines, warns the Met Service. Waves of 3 meters, sometimes stretching slightly higher than that, with the strong easterly winds of 25 knots. This will whip the seas, bringing sea spray, as well as continue to make those sheltered bays, which are normally sheltered from the wind, extremely choppy at times. Now, some of that rain has basically been affecting Grenada as well, but towards the north, it's mostly settled and fine for Antigua, Barbuda, Dominica as well. Lots of sunshine to come, but there will be a tropical wave passing through the Dominican Republic. This will eventually push into Jamaica, bringing them some heavy rains. But as you can see here, much of the Greater Antilles and out towards the Leeward Islands should be brighter once we get to Saturday. So looking therefore at Kingston, 30 degrees Celsius under those heavy rains. Havana further to the west will see a brisk shower or two as a front pushes through, but for the most part conditions should be brightening up as we get towards the Leeward Islands. Lots of sunshine expected for Antigua, down towards Dominica, 32 degrees Celsius in Roseau, 32 as well for Castries, quite breezy and if not touch windier out towards Bridgetown as they get out into the Atlantic, but down towards St. George's in Grenada and down towards Georgetown, still seeing some longer spells of rain and some of those turning heavy and thundery as you go through Friday. So be careful out there. That's your weather, and that's it from me.